the name should tell you what we do. We fly within the Caribbean, hence our name is interCaribbean. And our slogan is right there with it, which says what our mission is for you. It's connecting you and the Caribbean. Now the story of the company is quite an interesting one, so I'm going to put up a slide here of this gentleman. And his name is Lyndon Gardner. Lyndon Gardner is the founder, the chairman today, and fully 100% owner of the company from day one. Now, he was also the first pilot. He was the first baggage handler, the first accountant. In other words, he was the first everything. He was a one-man show. The story of our company and the founding is I'll give you maybe the shorter version, but it came about from a love story. It is that that Lyndon had fell in love with somebody and lived on a different island. And how to get to that island was quite challenging. So in his regular job, he was consistently late to work on Monday morning. And it was that his bank manager had asked him, well, why? And he shared the story of why. And the bank manager helped him with a small loan, which enabled him to then get his pilot's license. So now he got a private pilot license. Surely you can get there and back on time. So he continued to be late on Monday because the second question from the bank manager came as to why are you late? So I don't have a plane. So the bank lent to Lyndon some money in order that he could buy a plane. And that began, at that moment, unknowingly, the journey of the company. For it was that, that Lyndon met somebody on a Saturday morning who wanted to go up and take some pictures of land in the Turks and Caicos. And coming back to Earth, he wasn't exactly a commercial man at this moment, so he wasn't quite sure what to charge. And the gentleman who was the photographer gave him 5 $100 bills for about 45 minutes of flying. Now Lyndon quickly thought about that and realized that his salary at the bank was hardly much more than 2 times that for the month. So having just earned 500 in the space of less than an hour, he said, I quit at the bank. And so began the journey of the company in establishing an AOC, or what we call an Air Operator Certificate, a flying license for an airline. That journey began in 2001. Sorry, in 1991, excuse me, I'm a whole decade off here. And it was a very humble beginning with whatever airplanes that he could begin to move from a 4-seater Cessna 172 to some 6-seater options to then 15-seater. And then the opportunity came along to buy out the then competitor. And again, he went back to the bank to see if I could borrow some money to buy them out. And so it began the journey of becoming the Turks and Caicos-based airline, and now moving into 30-seat airplanes. So for those of you who've flown around in the past with, say, Delta or SkyWest operating Embraer 120 or Brasilias, as they were called, they were the commuter airplane of the time. So we had a fleet of those. So the journey from those points obviously began to accelerate, but this is a day actually, well, I'd already been a long time with Lyndon at this point, but it's not your everyday picture, but you know, the fact is This is 3 days after COVID shut the country. So every airplane we had, we flew them back into Providenciales and we lined them up on our ramp on the airport. And later this airplane was moved over with the others, so you could see our entire fleet in a row. This is the Embraer 145, if you're not familiar with that airplane. It's a 50-seater jet. Now, unless we have some of the travel media, travel agent media here, my message always for the travel agent community is we're travel agent friendly. We pay commissions to show how friendly we are. We appreciate the travel selling community across the globe. Now, this map, I actually just used this last week, and so I decided to leave the map the way it is. This is what we fly now today across the Caribbean. So we're in Cuba, off onto the westernmost point for us today. Guyana is the southernmost point. Barbados, our most eastern point. And Nassau, Bahamas, our current most northern point. So you can see we fill in a few spots, and we've got half a dozen more spots we hope to launch through this year just to keep filling in the map here. So when I say we're into Caribbean, hopefully you get the picture. Now, we launched on February the 6th the new flight that connects non-stop between Kingston, Jamaica and to Barbados, and everything you see next to Barbados is entirely connectable off of that journey in both directions. So whether you want to go to St. Kitts, to Antigua, to Dominica, to St. Lucia, to Grenada, to St. Vincent, or down into Guyana, all of those flights are entirely connected, and you can check in at the beginning and end up where you need to go. So I used this map last week at the event of Sandals launch in St. Vincent. Sandals opened their latest resort, and for the benefit of presenting to the travel selling community who attended, to just visually give them a view of where all the Sandals properties, Sandals and beaches in this case, can be found, in order to understand that they could sell not just one destination in the region, but sell 2 or even 3, depending how long somebody has to take a vacation. The US market has generally and most typically focused on one destination, take your time and go, but a lot of the travel sellers, after looking at this map, realized I really can start selling more than one destination to sell a vacation. And so this simple map actually helped a lot of people visually put in their head the selling opportunities. And it's here for Sandals because I presented at Sandals, but candidly it's whichever 2 experiences that you wish to put together. There's plenty of different experiences from, aside from the beach, the sun, the sand. If you're a rum drinker, you can have really a great rum vacation because we produce rum in so many of these islands. Less islands produce coffee, but a lot are growing chocolate or cacao. So, and rather than just being an exporter of the products, now today increasingly you can find made in, as in put my country Maine. And there's one in St. Lucia called Hotel Chocolat. And to my surprise, I come from England, so every once in a while I go home and say hello to the remains of my family that's there. And my little hometown is called Norwich. My cousins still live there, so I go and say hello. And I went into the city, to the shopping mall, to my extraordinary surprise, here was this huge store with the name Hotel Chocolat, entirely St. Lucian chocolate. It was bigger than a Starbucks that was of any size, and it was just an amazing amount of chocolate offering. So I was very happy to find in my little hometown, just a small city of 150,000 people, here was this big store selling chocolate from St. Lucia. It's not the only country that produces it, but I just share that as an example for you. So our business is really getting people around the Caribbean. Now, you may or may not be familiar with some of the airplanes we operate, so I put up 4 of the most significant ones here. We have a total fleet of 35 aircraft, so I think if you do the math, it is more airplanes than all of the 4 government airlines on the 4 corners of the Caribbean combined. So when I say we're a private company, we're a significant private company. We're bigger and bigger. I don't know if we're better, but we're certainly bigger than all of the government airlines. Now, the little jet, the 50-seater, the one you saw me standing next to up there on the top left, we have 2 types of ATRs. This is a French-produced airplane. Not really seen too much in the US since the days of American Eagle, but today Silver Airways in Florida fly them. So if you've been around Florida, you may have seen those painted in their colors. So we have 48-seat ATRs and 68-seat ATRs. So the pilots can fly both with some nominal differences training. And it's a perfect airplane for the Caribbean. It gives us the ability to candidly not leave any bags behind, as we get a lot of tourists come in and have 2 and 3 bags, and with the smaller airplane, our Embraer 120s, we frankly could run into trouble with carrying all the bags. So it's good news. The CRJ, or the Bombardier airplane on the bottom right, is the one we fly our longest flight today, which is the Kingston, Barbados, at 2 hours, 45 minutes. So everything else we fly is somewhere between 45 minutes and, say, 2 hours. Havana to Providenciales is 1 hour and 45. That same airplane will take you on to Antigua in another hour and 30 minutes. Then Antigua down into Barbados is 47 minutes, and then from Barbados into Georgetown, 1 hour and 5 minutes. So you can get up and have breakfast in Havana and be in Georgetown, 1,900 miles away for dinner, and you'll have made 3 stops on this journey. So such is our connected network that you're never hanging around any airport for hours. You might only have time to do the security bit and then quickly back into the boarding gate. So when you fly with us around the region, you fly a journey that just keeps you going. We don't want you hanging around the airport longer than you want to be there yourself. So I probably could talk for an hour, but I don't think you want to hear me for an hour, so I won't. So I want you to remember our company when you're writing about travel in the Caribbean. We have better than 450 city pairs that we offer, and that is to say any one of our cities, through these connections, I can get you to maybe 8 or 10 other cities easily. Same day, no having to go to sleep somewhere else to make a journey somewhere else. So what we're doing is taking the time out of the travel and putting that back in your pocket for you to enjoy where you're going. We have some exciting things that we're going to be announcing in July, and I think the Caribbean is going to be jumping up and down with excitement when we do that. But I'll table that till July.
We want to know how